Who is the Holy Spirit and what does he do? Well, number one, the Holy Spirit is God's personal presence. We see in the book of Genesis that before creation, the presence of God, or the Holy Spirit, was hovering over the unformed waters of the earth. Number two, the Holy Spirit is the third part of the Godhead, or the Trinity. We'll talk about this more in other videos ahead, but for now, all you need to know is that the Holy Spirit, God the Father, and Jesus are all three in one God. Number three, the Holy Spirit empowers individuals. We see this in the book of Acts, where the disciples were waiting for Jesus in the upper room. The Holy Spirit descended upon them, and through the power of the Holy Spirit, they spoke other languages for those around them to hear. They were able to share the gospel in multiple different languages, all through the power of the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit empowers us to do things that we could never do on our own. Take Moses, for example, on Mount Sinai, when he was coming down to the Israelites. He spent a lot of time with God up on the mountain, and as he was coming down, his face was shining, and they had to put a veil over his face because he was too bright. Number four, the Holy Spirit speaks to us and convicts us. We also see this in the book of Acts, where Peter gives his first message to a crowd. And at the end of his message, it says that the people were cut to the heart, or cut to the core. The Holy Spirit convicted their hearts to hear that message, and they repented and they followed after God. I'll end this with a personal story. One time I was with a group of friends and I started to gossip about another friend. And I got halfway through it, and as I was saying it, as I was telling the story, I could just feel in my heart the Holy Spirit just say, man, why are you doing this? You know this is wrong. You know this is against what God desires. Why are you doing it? Finally, I had to stop and just be like, guys, I'm gossiping right now, and I can't do this. So in that moment, I stopped and we started to talk about something else. But I tell that story as an example of saying that when we as Christians follow after Christ, we've been given the Holy Spirit, and he is our helper. He helps us do things that we could never do, and he convicts us of sin, even hidden sin. And so to end this video, the Holy Spirit is God's presence, and the Holy Spirit empowers us to do things that we could never do on our own.